From Israel's President Issac Herzog saying that Israel would be ready for another humanitarian pause that would enable the release of hostages from Hamas captivity. Now, he's not talking about an end to the war in the Gaza Strip in the slightest. That is what Hamas wants. Hamas also wants the release of Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails. For there even to be a possibility of a prisoner exchange, Israel says that 129 hostages are still being held by Hamas in the Gaza Strip. But the diplomatic pressure for there to be a ceasefire, well, that has increased over recent days. Some of Israel's closest European allies, for example, calling for a ceasefire. Why? Well, because of what is happening in the Gaza Strip. There is no let-off in Israel's military campaign, no signs of a new phase, the likes of which had been discussed by U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin during a trip to Tel Aviv over the last 24 hours. No signs of a ceasefire on the ground in the slightest. And the number of Palestinian deaths keeps on creeping up and up. It now stands at nearly 20,000, and the United Nations estimates that there are thousands more trapped under the rubble. So that number is expected to go up, and to go up pretty quickly because of the intensity of Israel's attacks. More airstrikes in the north on the Jabalia refugee camp, for example, but also an Israeli ground raid on one of the last functioning hospitals in the north of the Gaza Strip. And in the south, well, further attacks on the town of Rafah, which is right there on the border with Egypt, and which the Israeli military had deemed safe, essentially, for Palestinian civilians. It was an area that it had encouraged Palestinians to evacuate to. Obviously, that is not a safe place right now either. Philip Crowther with the Associated Press for CGTN in Jerusalem.